Back in 2019, Amazon decided to jump on the bandwagon in regard to the superhero genre, releasing an adaptation of the niche satirical comic book series The Boys. Created by Darth Ennis and Derek Robertson, the comic book series originally ran under Wildstorm before Dynamite Entertainment soon picked it up, where it ran for 6 years until 2012. There were cancelled plans between 2008 and 2016 to adapt the source material into a theatrically released film, yet they were ultimately scrapped. Shortly after, in 2016, it was announced that Amazon will be giving it the TV show treatment, with Eric Kripke, Evan Goldberg, and Seth Rogen developing it. It didn't take long for the series to thrive, which led to a 5-season run of iconic memes, which has just wrapped up now in 2026. Whilst The Boys may have concluded, its legacy hasn't. Its popularity has generated several spin-offs with more around the corner. Yet today we're going to be solely focused on that mainline series, ranking all 5 of its seasons from worst to best. So let's begin.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight.
Now, easily in last place, I do have the newly released season 5, and it had such a strong start, carrying on from the agonizing cliffhanger from the season before, yet the writing of this season just derails after those first few episodes. The once tight and consistent writing now displays flaws both narratively and amongst its characters, whether that be them acting out of the ordinary or just being in general quite dislikable. Whilst criticizing the writing can be quite broad, I do find that it is connected to most of the flaws of this season, as the story failed to intrigue. The direction it goes means that there are less action scenes, which is fine, but those quieter moments don't really make up for them and are a big struggle to get through at times. The Boys' humour has always been self-aware, yet it walked a tight line where it becomes really charming. However, on this occasion it becomes quite annoying and done for shock factor rather than anything beneficial to the overall product. And I also do just find it's quite hypocritical in some regards, as you know, it mocks the superhero genre, takes the mick out of how it builds a franchise with tons of spin-offs and stuff, and it's not just concerned with telling an appropriate story, it's more about the wider implications. It's always poked fun at that, yet it kind of does the same here, incorporating moments from Gen V, the TV series, which serves very little purpose and sticks out like a sore thumb, as does the setup for its Vought Rising series, where it's just so out of place and doesn't really change the overall season way too much. I did just find that this final season fizzles out with a whimper, with a totally acceptable finale, yet one which doesn't thrill like the other seasons have. And I think a lot of the issues started to emerge in this season, as it's not near the quality of that final season, yet there are a lot of similarities, just in less exaggerated fashion. There doesn't seem to be a clear goal from start to finish. There's a lot of meandering and pointless subplots, which ultimately, serve no purpose. Because of the pursuit of these specific plot lines, character development is put on hold for the majority of the season. And as I mentioned before, the iconic crude and grotesque humour and violence just becomes a bit tiresome this time around, as it's done for the sake of maintaining standards rather than it making sense. I think the addition of new characters is fascinating and beneficial to the story, however at the same time it does deter that development and screen time from beloved characters who have been there from the start. I do think this is an entertaining season, yet just off the quality of what those previous seasons have presented. After such a strong start, season 2 takes a slightly different approach, and while obviously it's lower down on the list, I do kind of appreciate that change, and it allows for so much more to happen, which becomes important for this series overall. The main premise is that the main group, the titular group, are wanted, so naturally they can't just roam around in public like they did before, except they can. There is a severe lack of stakes alongside their wanted status. I feel like they could still get away with a lot of things where realistically they should be caught, but regardless, they're in hiding for a lot of this season, and with that you're spending a lot more time with them so you can develop them as characters. I think the addition of Stormfront does bring some strong qualities to the forefront as well, both through narrative scale and just bringing the worst out of Homelander, which is good for the viewers. Where most second seasons tend to build up the stakes off of a successful first season, season 2 serves more as a world building season, which does have some huge benefits for the show, but ultimately I just thought there were some more compelling seasons, hence why it's placed so far down this list. Now, narrowly in second place, I do have the first season, and it just personifies how great this show is, from its no-nonsense tone, where it immediately establishes itself as a unique player amongst the superhero genre, whether that's through its intense gore, its twisted humor, or just the satirical, self-aware nature of everything. This series is iconic for those things, and season 1 is obviously the one which started it all and was one of the best to do it of the seasons. It could be perceived as laziness for essentially twisting certain plot lines into a more satirical fashion, yet the way The Boys does it is so clever and entertaining that it just benefits the whole season. Instantly, you have some very charming and likable characters, and even the ones who aren't likable, their performances are so stunning that you can't help but enjoy watching them. And when you place those characters amongst an equally compelling story, which has such a unique tone incorporated into it, it's a recipe for success.
Freddy told me everybody's fly. DJ's spinning, I said my.
Everything you've grown to love about this series is perfected here in season 3, which narrowly comes in at first place. The series is pushed to the limits in regards to its standards, and I think they thrive with some of the most shocking things you'll ever see in a television series. Yet it makes sense and is in line with the show's tone, humor, and, to be honest, plot as well. Anthony Starr has been great from the start. However, this is the season where he truly stands out and gets a lot of award buzz for doing so. His take on the villain Homelander is obviously deranged, and can really start to see his mental state kind of chipping away and fracturing, and it's just a very compelling performance. He has a strong dynamic with Carla Urban's Billy Butcher, who also delivers one of his finest performances of this season. He gains powers through an interesting drug that's introduced, and from that the stakes have never felt higher. Obviously it spices up the story a bit, brings in some entertaining aspects, but also combines the morality of it all into the mix. I was torn between this season and season 1 in first place, yet what this season delivers in terms of its performances, its writing, and just overall entertainment, I had this one slightly edging it out. So season 3 is my number 1 pick. Let me know what your ranking is down below of all 5 seasons of The Boys. Obviously this franchise is not done yet, and we'll have Vault Rising sometime next year, I believe. We'll be back to rank all of the shows once that airs. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video.